So we're going to do some suited deadlift today. So have you done any suited deadlift before, Rosie?
I've not.
If you can, get a hold of adjustable straps. So we've got you one there that we can do, because as you get more confident with it, then you can crank up the tightness, if you will, and therefore more support. And then a big error that I see with beginners starting in a deadlift suit is they almost think the tighter the better. Like logically, you think, the tighter the deadlift suit, the more sport you're going to get and the more pop you're going to get. Whereas actually, this is just like a surefire way of being pulled out of position, and your bar path is just going to get eaten up if your deadlift suit's on too tight. I've purposely given Rosie a suit that's probably going to be, well, it is going to be a bit too big for her. I'm going to show her some tips on how to tighten it up without going to a tighter suit. Get her confident in this one, show her a few tips to get that really tight, and then we'll progress to the tighter suit as we go along. We want to get the suit as tight as possible eventually, so you're obviously getting the support, but without sacrificing and compromising the bar path. The key that I like to think about when you're wearing a deadlift suit for the first time is almost feel like for people who've worn a singlet before, almost get it so it's feeling like a tight singlet, and imagine it like a tight singlet. So it feels pretty comfortable when it's on, but then just as you get down to like your deadlift start position, you're just feeling a bit of support. If you're feeling like your crotch is getting crushed, you're in pain, just feel like you're having to get two mates to help you get it on, then it's definitely too tight to learn with. That's why you see so many people who say, oh yeah, deadlift suit isn't for me, deadlift suit, like I don't want to use a deadlift suit, but probably because the first time they've done it, they've gone too tight. So I would rather have Rosie at the start of first session, I would rather have her come away from the session and feel like, be able to get in a good position in the suit, and then from there we can crank it up and get it tighter as we go along, rather than it being too tight, her be put off, blah, 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 blah. So that's what we'll go with. So first time wearing a deadlift suit, we've got the deadlift suit with the adjustable strap. So go to put it on, Rose. Just put it on like you're putting a singlet on. And then what we want to try and find is get your hip crease aligned with the creases in the suit. So that's it, pretty much in position. Yeah, feel all right. Yeah. Get the straps on, and just put it on loose. Don't worry about going tight. Just get it so it's on really loose. That's it. And then you may have heard about people getting like really uncomfortable in the crotch or whatever, right? So what's really important to do is what we want to do, once this is in position, which it pretty much is, or it might actually be a little bit high, is what we want to do is prevent that from being ridden up. So obviously, just touch your boob. But basically, the logic is you tighten these up to get the suit tighter, but what actually happens with beginners is they just pull this up tighter, so you're just making it more uncomfortable here and getting the illusion of tightness by how uncomfortable it is there. Whereas actually what we want to do is lock this in position. We want to get this tight without these riding up. So what we're going to do is use the belt to kind of lock it in position almost. Use the belt as an anchor, so put it on like 80% tightness, just so that's it. And then now, so we're using that to lock this in position. Now, in fact, we'll just try that. That might be enough to just have a go at a few sets.
With straps?
Yeah, stick with what we're doing. Yeah, so actually I was going to say, right, now we'll crank the straps up, but it's going to be, it might be enough. So how did that feel?
Felt like an empty bar.
It's the first set she's ever done in a suit. How does that feel now in terms of comfort stood up?
Stood up fine. When I go to deadlift, I can feel it like it's tight, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah, okay, so that's the key. You see people struggling to even stand up and being out of breath and just being so uncomfortable. So it's just a real false economy. So we've got this on quite loose, that we'll do a few sets of this, get you more confident with the kind of tightness, and then we might look to crank it up as we go along. When you stood up, you're not getting much support up, but as we flex and as you get lower, you're going to load up the suit and therefore get more tension. Yeah. So the difference with the suit pulling versus row pulling is the lower that you can get your hips, the more that you're going to be able to load the suit. So if you just flex over like that with your legs straight, and compare that to almost like squatting down a little bit. Can you feel how you're loading it almost like a sprint? Yeah. So what you can see, if as Rosie lowered a hip and her torso angle there, she could feel more tension in the suit straight away. So therefore, the start position in terms of torso angle is going to be subtly different than row. So if we notice some of the row pulling before, it's like to suit your kind of anthropometry and your leg length and whatnot, like your hip position compared to a lot of people is quite high. Whereas what we noticed on that first set was, without realising, you got your hips a little bit lower because it's actually feeling subconsciously a bit more support when you get that lower position. So the result is the knees go over the bar a little bit more, the knees are a little bit more forward. Having the knees a little bit more forward, what do you think would be a good idea to do in terms of your second position compared to row? Do you think same position, further away, closer to the bar? What do you think is going to allow you to get that kind of position a little bit more?
Your knees are going to get in the way with your butt down, aren't they?
Yeah, so what could you do to offset that?
Give a little gap.
Yeah, how could you make a gap?
Just have the bar like further forward.
Yes, let's try it. Oh yeah, that looks good. How does that feel?
Good.
That looks really good positionally. Yeah. Could you feel how you basically getting that lower hip position that you would in row? Yeah. So what would happen? What do you think would happen if you got in that position? If you tried to do that row, you see a common error with people who try to
set off. You do that, don't you?
Exactly, the hip shoot up. What's happening with the suit is actually going into that position where you get shot up, row up. It's actually giving you more support with the suit. So that's where you need to kind of find that little bite point where. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's where a lot of people kind of miss the boat a little bit with the suit. They just feel like it's just a bit of, oh nice, yeah, I get a bit of extra support. Whereas actually there's a subtle positional change in terms of that getting the hip lower. I would say that you're really going to benefit from practicing in terms of, like, say, speed work protocol, working triples at 50%-ish, because that's going to allow you to just play, because basically I'm saying to you, get your hips lower, but you're going to find a point, not too far, and then you might go there, and then you're going to get shot up. So the only way you're going to find that, I can't tell you, Rosie, your hip should be starting here. It's completely individual, so you need to explore and find that position. The only way that you can explore and find that position is by practicing. The only way you can practice so much is by dropping the weights, so you can play around and recover. Does that make sense? For the purpose of today, we won't do that. That'd be something that you could do next week. Keep hold of the suit. Come and do an extra session of, right, I'm going to do 20 sets of 3 weeks, 60 kilos. And then we'll do another session heavier, and you're going to be, you know, that consistency thing that I said to you before. You're going to be like, right, I feel really consistent with X weight now. Let's have a look at the technique. Let's progress it on further. Good. All right. So better than anticipated you'd be able to do today. Good. No problem. So to give you an idea on sizing, so this is Rosie's competed, under 73 she weighed in last weekend, and she's wearing a size 48 Metal King Pro, so that's like what I've worn at 90. The point is, it's like it's too big, but actually maybe even a couple of sizes too big. That again, we haven't even cranked the straps up yet. What I would say is crank the straps up and that until you get comfortable as it gets tighter, and then get to the point where you'll go to that. Pulled 140 for 3 weeks or something. So 140 for 3, say 155, single max, add 10% to that is 170. 10%, I'd say. Another thing on suited training, I see a lot of people making the error of just putting the suit on comp day. I would say that just practicing it. And to give you something objective to aim for, 10% more than your raw. If it's less than 10% of your raw, I would keep suited in and practice it frequently until you confidently get 10% more than your raw on any given kind of rep max or whatever. If you're at like 5%, I'd say do more of your work in the suit. If it's more than that, then I would say focus more on your raw lifting.